Welcome already to the beginning of 2006 here in WCW in TEW 2020, as it's time for the 2006 WCW Draft. But before we get to that, a little bit of housekeeping in order. If you don't care, or if you already done stuff I'll mention, go ahead and just jump up to the show in a few seconds. But this should only take a minute or two. But as a quick little reminder, first thing is, if you've downloaded the data, you'll probably have to re-download it because I accidentally uploaded the MDD file instead of just the actual database. Just things you forget about. So, the link will still be in the comments of any of the last couple videos, the year end or this video. You just do a download and it should work fine. People in the comments have said so. Part 2 is, as it's the beginning of the year, it will be also the beginning of the year-end awards as part of WCW. So instead of a Google form, I'm doing these all via the community tab on the old YouTube. So it'll basically what's gonna happen is every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday there is going to be a new poll question. Obviously, they're going to be open for basically the whole series. We're starting out with the big ones: year-end awards, Media Wrestler of the Year, and then it'll be tag teams of the year, show of the year, face of the year, all the usual stuff, along with some fun stuff near the end. Through basically, in-game January and maybe a little farther. But I just want to, as always, get the pulse of people actually watching the show. The next thing after that is, of course, as to get the, sort of how people are feeling about the show. I still do have a link in the description about the year-end polling about the show. So basically, it's just a little poll where people, you go over how often you watch, what do you watch, if you watch any of my other series, what do you don't like as part of the show, what you'd like to see more of, maybe a series to bring back. Again, no guarantees, but it's just a little thing, just to go over things so people can tell me what they're liking and not liking about the show. But anyway, that's it for our housekeeping. Let's get on with the actual show. As we got Nitro live from the Houston Summit in Houston, Texas, just down the road, or even right next to the Astrodome where Starrcade was last night. And of course, we start out with Starrcade highlights. We got Booker and Shelton winning the tag titles. I forgot to put Shelton off screen. We got, Nikita Colt winning the women's ladder match. Jeff Jarrett, taking care of, business against Ken Anderson. Sean O'Haire getting the big win in the number one contendership match. Bill Goldberg, spearing Shane Helms to hell. And AJ Styles winning the WWE World Championship off of Chuck Palumbo. And, as those highlights end, which gets an 84, we cut to ringside where we see Mike Day and Jerry Lawler welcoming everybody to the show. And they said, they've been told by WC officials, there's a big surprise when the University of Oklahoma fight song hits, and out comes, returning to WCW for the first time in over a decade, Jim Ross. Yeah, so this is one of my big signings here, is Jim Ross has jumped over to WCW from WWE. He's good old JR. Fortunately, gimmick rating is poor, but he comes down ringside, says, welcome back. This is basically, where I first came to a national stage as part of this business. And I'm proud to back here at WCW, live on Monday nights, here for Nitro. And then they go to, putting over the big main event. And him and Ross, him and Jerry have a hug. And, they put over the big main, which, because this is reality, Ross and Lawler have not been on the same show since 2001. Since, Lawler left in real life. But, basically then Ross, puts over the big show, including the big main event, which has been announced by Eric Bischoff. And, Ross makes a joke where it says, I never thought I'd say those words again, is going to be Canyon versus Jack Evans versus Jeff Jarrett, the three men who went Starrcade, who are part of Nitro for now, with the winner getting the Starrcade title shot. So this gets a 71. As noted, Jim Ross's gimmick gets a short of poor. Unfortunately, this doesn't really matter since it's all comedy bouts minus, and it'll get better, not the end of the world. But as part of that, out comes first Teddy Long, your Revolution general manager, then Eric Bischoff, your Nitro general manager, and as noted as part of the Starrcade, Kidman got the win, so Revolution will get the number one pick as part of the draft. So Teddy Long takes the mic and says, what a great way to start off the WCW Draft by picking a world champion, one of the best in the world, and if he wins tonight, a man who's going to be main eventing Superbrawl. So much so that it'll be two Revolution players as AJ Styles is Revolution to his core. So please welcome the newest member of Revolution, Kanyon. Big pop for that as Kanyon comes into the ring. Bischoff sort of freaks out. And, but he sort of says, oh, this, okay, Long, you want to play that way? That's fine. You could have avoided those wrestlers in my main event and everything would have been okay. But you had to get involved and try to mess things up for me. So, please welcome the number 1 draft pick and the newest member of the Nitro roster, a man who came into prominence right here on WCW Nitro and for millions of fans. The one, the only, a former WCW World Champion himself, and also a former Cruiserweight Champion, and one of the best luchadors in history, Rey Mysterio Jr. Get that? So, yeah. Rey comes out. Kanyon comes out. They shake hands. Kanyon shakes hands with Teddy Long. Sort of shrugs at Bischoff. Kanyon cuts a quick promo and says, I got nothing against Nitro, obviously, but I'm still going to go out there and win that title match and prove, even when I'm Revolution, nobody's better than Kanyon. And, Rey says he's not here to be, Bischoff's, making things, make it matter. And Bischoff gets upset about that and says, okay, fine. Rey, you're a Nitro now, so let's get you an opponent. So this gets a 91 as we have our first draft pick, as it's, Kanyon and Rey. Kanyon going to Revolution, Rey coming to Nitro. Back to known as Kanyon had sort of feuded with everybody on Nitro to a certain that I really wanted him to. And he's a big enough star that makes sense as a number 1 draft pick, since there's other people who, I need to be later draft pick for story reasons. And Rey makes sense as a big guy to come over. And, he's been Revolution and sort of fighting with the same folks for a while. So now he gets to come over here. But then Rey Jr.'s in the ring, and out comes his opponent here on Nitro, Elix Skipper. Fun match. And they have great chemistry, which is interesting. But, this is just I don't want to say a complete squash, but this is hey, turns out Rey Mysterio Jr., pretty good. Pretty over. And, they have a fun match. I think I put it as high spots. Yeah, so just some high spots. Skipper gets his moves in. Eventually, Rey Jr. hits the springboard Hurricanrana for the pinfall victory in a little over 5 minutes. And this gets a 70. And Rey celebrates as the announcers put over, his skill. Ross points out, he's, that's something you'll only see on Nitro. And move forward as Long and Bischoff get back in the ring for the second draft picks. Long takes the mic and says, part of this draft has to be protecting what's yours. And last night, 2 Revolution wrestlers main evented Starrcade. And obviously, I can't protect one, but I can protect the other. So even though we aren't good friends, staying on Revolution where he belongs is Chuck Palumbo. And out comes Palumbo to a big heel pop, and really gets some cheers because, well, he's a cool biker guy with a hot wife or hot girlfriend, hot lily, what do you want to say? And he sort of glowers at both men. Takes Mike, says, this is where I start to get back on the trail to becoming world champion again. No matter how much any of you may not like it. And, Bischoff's first Merc says, well, that's fine if you want somebody who failed last night at Starrcade, earning him a look from Palumbo. But I want people who have been successful everywhere they've been in this business. Whether it's in front of a couple thousand people, in a small town in the South, and some of the grandest stages of them all. So please welcome, and a man who might just be main eventing Superbrawl for the world title. The one, the only, ain't he great, Jeff Jarrett. Chosen One comes out to the ring, cuts a heel promo about, being the Chosen One, and after tonight, he's going to be the number 1 contender to the World Championship, and whoever walks out of Clash of Champions is going to have to face the Chosen One, Jeff Jarrett. So big heel pop for that. And, again, backstage, Palumbo makes sense. He's, been a top guy. I thought about moving over to Nitro for a minute, but I have a plan for him over on Revolution, and Jarrett's Jarrett. He's great, and he's been on Nitro and the whole Chosen Few thing. So there we go. And we cut to commercial. Oh, wait, sorry. I forgot to actually move things forward here. So yeah, this gets 100 promo because, look, it's Palumbo, it's Jarrett, it's Long, it's Bischoff. along with underwhelming, which is sort of interesting. And, we cut back from commercial and come back from commercial. Jeremy Borash is with Brother Ray, and, he basically asks him about the fact that he has not been picked yet, despite being part of the number 1 draft pick, and if he feels bad about, losing that match. And Brother Ray says, Eric Bischoff knows damn well what I bring to the show. So, if he knows what's best for Nitro, he's going to pick me soon and keep me on the show. But wherever I go, if I end up in Revolution, that's fine. Get a kick-ass there too, and prove that I'm a survivor, and that I will get another shot at the world champion sooner than later, and run through anybody that gets in my way. So we cut back to the ring, where, Teddy Long and Eric Bischoff are, and Teddy Long says, Clash of Champions coming up in 3 weeks on pay-per-view is a Revolution show. So it makes sense that the man getting that title shot at Revolution, at Clash of Champions, should be a member of the Revolution roster. So please welcome to Revolution a former WCW World Champion, Sean O'Haire. O'Haire comes out to the ring, pop, talks about, this is still the future Shock, but now it's the present, and, talk about leading revolutions. He was the one who led the Revolution, helped bring WCW into a new era, and he's going to only continue over on Revolution. And then, Bischoff says, well, if you want to talk about the best, there's only one who's truly the best. He's the man, and still on Nitro, Goldberg. Dun, dun, dun. Goldberg comes out of the ring. Hair of a stare down between before they shake hands. Goldberg says, it doesn't matter where I am. I'm going to prove I'm the man. I proved that last night in Shane Helms, and now I'm on to bigger and better things. So there you go. Goldberg and O'Haire are your, members of the roster again. O'Haire, he been on Nitro, sort of feuded with all the heels he could. There's some guys in Revolution he can feud with and go from there. And also whole, being their contendership and that being the next match makes sense. And then Goldberg, again, I have to sort of book creatively around him, but there's some fun stuff I think I can do with him. And okay, this only gets a 78. I think I'm going to guess 4 minutes. Yep, 4 minutes. Okay. So yeah, because it went 4 minutes. And then we cut to commercial and we come back. We're in the ring as your new Cruiserweight champion. Maverick Chance defends the title against the Great Suzuki in a 7-minute match. This is just a pure, not quite spot fest, but steal the show, everybody on High Impact. The announcers put over Maverick Chance winning the first ever Highwire Havoc match at Starrcade and becoming the new Cruiserweight Championship. Back and forth, but Maverick Chance eventually gets a big pinfall because I didn't figure out a name for his move. And this gets a 54. And remember, Maverick Chance is Matt Cross, aka Son of Havoc. I forgot what his other names were. But he gets a 58 here. Suzuki gets a 70. Get the pre-show ding, but still gets a 54, so I'm not that unhappy about it. So, Maverick celebrates with the title. Him and Suzuki, shake hands. Maverick, gets out of the ring. And in comes, we're back at the top of the ramp with Teddy Long and Eric Bischoff. Yeah. Sorry. Had a moment there. So, Teddy Long says this, he may not like this man, but he can't deny his talent. And he's a man who won at Starrcade last night. And remind everybody, whether you dislike his action over the past few months, he's one of the best in the world and still a member of the Revolution roster, Rob Van Dam. Big heel pop for that as Van Dam, shows up, pointing to himself alongside Paul Heyman. And Heyman cuts a little promo about, still being Mr. Wednesday Night and all that good stuff. And then, Bischoff takes me and says, well, have fun with the guy who's been through 37 tables and it was chairs 22 times. I wonder how much longer that'll last. Him and Heyman share a look. But I'm looking for the future. I'm looking at a man who, even though he didn't defeat Jeff Jarrett last night, he has proven in the past 6 months he is one of the hottest rising stars in pro wrestling today. Please welcome to Nitro on a permanent basis, Ken Anderson. Big pop as Anderson comes down to the ring. Cuts a quick promo about, being an asshole, a-hole, always ready to action, always ready to kick ass, as he, takes a look at Rob Van Dam. And he's here to kick ass and take names on Nitro week by week. And and he says Bischoff, he wants some competition right now, and Anderson, Bischoff says basically, give him a second, as he sends Anderson out of the ring, and then out comes Austin Aries for a match. This gets a 99 because all these guys are great. Then we have the actual match, which is basically a squash. Again, Aries gets a little bit of offense in, but Anderson eventually takes over, hits a Kenton bomb, 1, 2, 3, 70 again. Anderson gets a 79, Aries gets a 52. Again, straightforward, just sort of like, here's a great guy. Here's not exactly a new guy since Anderson has been on Nitro, but here's somebody here committed to Nitro for the moment. And, there we go. Nothing too fancy there. And I just realized something about the draft that I completely screwed up because I forgot about. Okay, sorry. Brain freeze moment there. Oh shit! I forgot to take off the picture. Sorry, guys. So anyway, the promo itself got a 99. You guys noticed, but this got a 70 again. 5 minutes, 79 for Anderson, 52 for Aries. Fun stuff. And then we move forward, back up to the top, where Long and Bischoff are staring down each other. Long Text Mike says, Playa, WCW has one of the best tag team divisions in the business today, and one of the best in history, and he's glad to continue that by bringing former World Tag Team Champions over to Revolution. Please welcome the Hardys on a permanent basis to Wednesday night. Big pop for that as the Hardys come out, cheers the crowd. And, Bischoff says, that's good. See, that gives me the opportunity to keep one of my best talents where he belongs on Nitro, where he's been part of some of the best matches in the world every single week. So please welcome, staying on Nitro, a former world champion, Eddie Guerrero. So Eddie comes out to the ring, cuts a heel promo about, getting basically losing only by a moment at Starrcade, and that he's going to get his revenge one way or the other, and remind everybody why you should all follow Guerrero family values. Again, 83, the cut is again capped by this only being 4 minutes, but fun stuff as, we go to commercial, and when we actually, okay, I'm just always rating whether you guys can actually see this or not. Oops, let me do a little. Like I said, we cut back from commercial, and Mike Tenay in the ring, and he welcomes the new WCW World Champion, AJ Styles. And this rating will probably give me a big. Okay. Actually, let me check this out before okay, hot crowd, 8 minutes, Styles. I mean, that's what I sort of figured. I thought, maybe it would be worth it to sort of, check AJ, so he's not going to be getting right now how much, at least an 8-minute promo just by himself, which I sort of figured out. Just a test, really. But anyway, AJ comes out as Tenay welcomes him, and he, basically says, thanks Mike and thanks everybody. Last night at Starrcade, I proved what I always promised. That all these years of blood, sweat, and tears finally paid off. It was a night that the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, stood up to the test and walked out as the new WCW World Championship champion at the granddaddy of them all. Now, I'm never going to think me and Chuck Palumbo are going to be friends, but he was one hell of an opponent in that ring, and we gave everything we had. But Chuck, like I said, week after week, I was that much better because I was hungry and I was ready and willing to do what I needed to become the world champion. It was my moment, and now it's time to turn the page. Tonight, then asked about turning the page, and his next opponent is a former world champion, Sean O'Haire, at Clash of Champions, which gets a pop for O'Haire as his face. Yep. And AJ says, Sean, you're one of the most explosive athletes we have in WCW. You got the power, the skill, and you've done it all in this company. Now you're the number one contender again. We're going to tear the house down at Clash of Champions. We're going to show the world what WCW is all about. Because you see, Sean, you talk about future shock, and you talk about looking towards the future, but I am that future, and I am the present. It took too damn long for me to become WCW World Champion, for me to slip it through my fingers just after a month. You see, Clash of Champions isn't just another pay-per-view or another title defense. It's where I prove last night was not a fluke. It's where I prove I'm here to stay as a world champion. So here, bring your A game. Try to create a future shock. Bring everything you got, but I'm ready. I'm ready to fly, ready to fight, and ready to prove why I'm going to be the face that runs this place here in WCW. And then O'Hare, then today, then ask about the, main event tonight here on Nitro with, Jeff Jarrett, Jack Evans, and Kanyon all fighting to get the world title shot at Superbrawl. And, AJ answers, this WCW World Championship, it's more than just a belt. It's a symbol of what you can achieve in this business if you don't give up. It's not about being a one-hit wonder, it's about stepping up night after night and proving why you're deserve to belong at the top of this business. So Jarrett, you're cunning, you're savvy, you're dangerous. You got your back up. But if you walk out of tonight the number one contender, you better give everything you've got. Because I don't care if you got one member, how many members of the chosen few you got. I got myself, and that's all I need. Jack, you remind me a lot like you. You remind me of me a year or two ago, the high-flying underdog who had shocked the world in a big match at Starrcade, beating Eddie Guerrero just like I did. That's no small feat. But I'm the champ for a reason. And finally, Kanyon. You've been at the pinnacle of this business before, and you're one of the best. I got nothing to respect for you. If you get a shot at Superbrawl, I'll be giving 110%. Finally, let me be clear to everybody in the back. Anybody who's got an eye on this title, from the newest wrestler to the oldest veteran, from the guy at the very bottom of the card, barely getting on the card, to former world champions. If you get in this ring with me, as long as this title is around my waist, I am WCW. I am the man who sets the bar. I am the face that runs this place. And any night where I'm defending this title, if you step in the ring with me, it's going to be the fight of your life. I didn't climb to the top of this business to enjoy the view tonight. I came to dominate. So Jeff, Jack, Kanyon, Sean, or anybody else, bring your best, because I'm going to be ready every single night. So 83, solid promo. Not the best, but, good babyface promo, putting over everybody and setting up, both the world title main event for Clash of Champions and the Starrcade main event. So this gets an 83, and then go back up to ringside, ready for our next draft picks. Up to the top of the ramp, rather. I just realized, this is a match, AMW on it. So here, sorry guys. I totally screwed up and forgot to turn off pause it when I was getting up the next picture. So, got to review. Okay, so Teddy Long comes out, talks about, the triple threat match coming up, and says he already has one member of that match coming to Revolution. So now he wants two. Now comes Jack Evans. Bischoff freaks out, says fine. Then he says, welcome to Nitro, 4-time tag team champions, America was wanted. They get a pop. Back out at 74, as then AMW told Bischoff, they want some competition, and we come back for commercial. We then have this match. There we go. Okay, so this gets to 69. Basically basic tag match. Swinger and Jet, get a little bit of heel stick in, but AMW are here, to look strong, and that's what basically we have. 69 overall. James Storm gets an 84. Chris Harris gets an 82. Jet gets a 63. Johnny Swinger only gets a 50. And yeah, Jet's injured with a broken nose, but I wish, one thing about this game, I wish injuries had a lesser bigger effect. So obviously if a guy has chronic back pain, it'll hurt him a lot more than a broken nose. Because let's see, basically every wrestler has wrestled with a broken nose and been fine. But yeah, 69, decent match. But then, as we, cut to commercial as AMW celebrate, we come back from commercial to see the chosen few leaving Bischoff's office. Interesting. As the hunters, speculate about what that could mean, especially as Jarrett is now the only member of the Nitro roster in the main event. And then we go back up, we come up with Bischoff, coming down back to the ringside area, to the top of the ramp, as, long questions about what's going on. And Bischoff said, just dealing with the valued members of our roster, especially ones who want to be future world champions. But, Teddy Long, says, Teddy, you're up. And Teddy Long says, fine. In this business, you got to deal with people you don't like very much all the time, playa. But you have to understand their talent. And maybe a change of scenery will mean a change of the type of person they are. So I want to bring over to Revolution a man who's a fantastic in-ring wrestler, a former world champion, and a man who had a rough few months and maybe just needs a new lease on life. So please welcome to Revolution, playa, Shane Helms. Big heel pop for Shane coming out, as he takes mic, says, tonight's a new beginning for the superstar Shane Helms, the greatest United States champion of all time, and a man who will rise back to the top on Revolution. And Josh says, well, Teddy, you want to make big moments? Here's a big moment for you, because if you remember, when we signed that agreement about divisions being separate, it would only last a year. So everybody could see the great cruiserweights on Nitro every week, and you could build the women's division over on Revolution. But as of midnight, that agreement ended. So please welcome the newest member to the Nitro roster and the beginning of the Nitro women's division, Tricia Skye. Big pop for that as Tricia Skye comes out of the ring. She basically sort of brushes off Bischoff and says she's got to compete wherever, and she hopes that whoever is on the Nitro women's roster is ready to know that the sky's the limit. And this, of course, gets a 81. Not bad. Again, only 4 minutes. Bischoff struggled a little bit, but Trish looked like a star. Shane Helms looked good. Again, limited only because it's 4 minutes. But yeah, big moment here. So, backstage stuff. Basically, that's what I wanted to do in real life, was have a year where the people were consistently week to week on show. And now that we have a slightly bigger roster, because if you notice, part of the problem was that I didn't have enough time on Revolution Weekly to get basically the bottom part of the roster, women's roster. So there might be some issues. In fact, it'll be a little thinner roster on each side. But, that's what you have to deal with. And plus, there are still very talented women in developmental who can be brought up. And you'll see that in the next few weeks. But yeah, then we come back commercial with another match as Alex Wright, who of course took the loss against Kanan last night at Starrcade, takes on Matt Sydal, a former cruiserweight champion and a very talented wrestler. And, back and forth match, but, Wright is Wright and Sydal is Sydal. He gets a little bit, some hots, moves in, but eventually Wright takes over. And basically, even though he hit some low blows and some eye pokes, hits a basically clean, it says double arm, but it's a single arm DDT right in the middle of the ring to get the pinfall victory. As he sort of put over, he's a very, strong competitor and will be a buoy to either show if he gets drafted by them. 79, good stuff. Again, just a match to make Wright look strong here after the loss to Canyon. As, we have to see what storylines continue and what storylines move forward. So then we have the last picks of the show, as overall there are going to be 15 picks for the draft, with basically then an off-screen supplemental draft, putting everybody over to other shows. Obviously, you guys don't want to see 30 draft picks. Or I might make... I'm tempted to do free agency or supplemental draft. I don't know. Honestly, I'm going to run the show, and I'll think about it, and you'll see what's going on after next week. Whether what I choose. Anyway, Long says, it's funny that Bischoff, stole a former women's world champion, but the thing is, Revolution has built up multiple former women's world champion, so he's glad to keep on Revolution a woman who was very close to winning the women's world championship in the ladder match last night at Starrcade, as he brings out Gail Kim, who gets brought up still being the head bitch in charge of the women's division on either show, and sooner or later, she's going to have that belt around her waist. Good stuff. And then, Bischoff fires back. Well, you want to talk about talent, you talk about rising stars, that's where Nitro is. Because another person whose last year in WCW made him one of the hottest rising stars in the business today, and one of the most popular wrestlers in the world today. Please welcome to Nitro, The Truth. So big pop for that. Truth cuts up, does a rap. Again, I'm not doing those raps, but basically puts over that he's here on Nitro to win titles, and cook other people on the mic. 81, decent stuff, nothing too hype. I was thinking about a big way to end this, but that'll be on Revolution, because remember, it's a 15-pick show. So it's an 81, and now the end of the draft picks, at least for the night. And then we have our main event, as the announcer was put over. It's Nitro and 2 Revolution people, so Revolution could have the main event, number 1 contenders in the first 2 pay-per-views. As remember, Superbrawl is a cross-brand show. And wow, almost a freaking 100. Okay, wow. But hey, these 3 men prove why they won at Starrcade and why they're 3 of the best in the world as they go back and forth. This is basically Jarrett, is still a heel, and because again, the crowd does not really care about Nitro versus Revolution. They just like Jack Evans. They think Jeff Jarrett is a prick, and Kanan gets to play sort of subtle heel and going after Evans and trying to get the pin. Jarrett and Kanan actually work together a little bit with a few double team moves, throwing back to their theirs together in the Horsemen way back, at the beginning of the save in 2001, 2002. But eventually, Jarrett is Jarrett and, goes after Canyon. Evan is able to hit a few big moves. But eventually, what happens is Evans actually hits the big, stunting 630 splash on Canyon, but Jarrett sort of drags him out of the ring, throws him into the barrier on the outside. But Canyon is ready for him. And is going for the flatliner, but as part of that, there's a rift bump, and then in comes Magnificent Mark Jindrak, who nails Canyon from behind with the Mark of Excellence. Jarrett whacks him with the stroke. Referee covers. 1, 2, 3. Your winner and new number 1 contender is Jeff Jarrett. This gets a 99 because all these guys are great. Jarrett gets an 89. Evan gets a 93. Canyon gets a 96. Post-match, the chosen few are celebrated when AJ Styles comes up to the top of the ramp and points to Jindrak and Jarrett. As the show ends, this gets 73 because it's only 3 minutes. And overall, we are looking at a 95. Okay, so freaking honestly great show. I mean, really helped out by a couple big promos and an awesome main event, which sort of kicks things off. So yeah, I mean, again, I'll go over sort of more specifically all the draft picks and where people are after Revolution. But I'll be back with that in just a second as we get to the news. So, I do some owner goals, but they're spoilers, so I'll go over them after Revolution when I can let everything go free. But yeah, anyway, we have that's also a spoiler. So, not a lot of shows because it's the start of the year, so just all the people who, yeah. But there's a new CML stable, Dr. Wagner Jr., El Hijo del Fantasma, El Hijo del Soltero, and Ultimo Rebelde. Interesting. And this random guy signed him. So let's see. Nitro itself, we got a 2.19. And then Raw got a right there in Japan again, which screws up their ratings. Anyway, so pre-show Amber James defeated Chantel Fierce. Brawl between Batista, DDP, Jericho, and Show. JC Daz defeated Ron Waterman in 51. Rick Steiner defeated Fit Finley, Steven Richards, and Saman, and Mava defeated Adam Jacobs of the Outcast by DQ. Skylo, Kylie Milan, and Punk defeated Viscera and Thrasher. Vampiro defeated Charlie Haas in 73. Molly Holly defeated Beth Phoenix in her debut, so good moment for her. And then also Jericho's Jerks defeated Batista and DDP in a cage match in 1999 to, end the show, because of course he did. Fun stuff. Now, hold on. Now I'm wondering about something. So yeah, good start. But yeah, I'll be back in just a moment with Revolution. Sorry, that was a really dumb spoiler for a second. Anyway, we're at Revolution, live from Shreveport, Louisiana, in front of a little over 10,000 people, as we're trying to not hit the same exact spots every single show, every single cycle. But, we're right on the big moments as the show Revolution starts out, after going into the draft highlights of the first couple shows, including Palumbo, Helms, the Hardys, and Jack Evans, all become members of Revolution. We get our first, we get Teddy Long and Eric Bischoff coming out to put over the next draft pick. And it starts out with Monty Brown, welcoming everybody to Revolution, the top show in WCW. And part of that top show is having the best athletes and the fastest rising stars in the business playa. So staying on Revolution will be the baddest man on the planet, Monty Brown. Brown comes down to the top of the ramp, all hyped up. Basically, I don't think we're ignoring that he lost the number one contendership match. But we're basically he's not mentioning, he's saying he's going to prove it. He's the alpha male of WCW. And, Bischoff says, well, speaking of interesting thing about Rising Stars. You see, there's somebody in Revolution with Rising Star and a big night last night as part of the 10-woman elimination tag. So much so that she earned a women's title shot. So, I'm glad to bring over somebody who will now be getting a women's title shot on Nitro next week, Celine Cartier. Cartier comes out, cuts a promo saying next week she's going to end Nikita Colt's title reign early and right on Nitro. So, big pop for that. There we go. As we move forward. So there we go. Back into 79. Again, only 4 minutes. Monty Brown did a little script follow. But, as we're about to leave, Taylor Long says, Monty Brown, you want to prove yourself tonight? Then here's some competition. And out comes Keith Walker. And, Keith Walker dies. Unfortunately, Worst Sports Peace have to rework his old gimmick with Tori Wilson being gone. So he's just sort of like an undercard jump to the stars for the moment while we figure out his new character. And he dies here. He only gets a 49. Monty kills him in 4 minutes with the pounce. This gets a 57. Monty Brown gets an 82. Solid stuff. As then we go back up to the top of the ramp where our two general managers are. So, Taylor Long takes the mic and says he's all about rewarding those who backed Revolution. So we may have our issues, and he has a big match later tonight for the tag titles, which he was given because he got the win and gave Revolution number 1 pick. So staying on Revolution will be former WCW World Champion Kidman. Big heel pop as Kidman comes out, says he's going to end the dream of Booker and Shelton in just a little bit as he and his tag partner Lance Storm take the tag belts off those lucky bastards and they walk away prove they're the best in the world. And then Jeff says that's all nice and all, but sometimes you gotta make things a little interesting. So Nitro remained an interesting place as Raven stays as part of Nitro. Raven comes out, cuts a Raven-y promo, saying tonight only continues his quest of destruction, and now that he is free from his prior obligations, now true destruction and chaos can come to WCW. So Raven's there. And 87 because Raven's really good. And and Kidman stays on because that's where it's been good. And Raven, I have some ideas from in the new year, especially with some other shifts that'll be happening soon enough. And now we head to the ring. As we got Jamie Noble defending the television title for the first time against Dean Malenko. This is not as bad as I was worried about. This goes 6 minutes. That's a basic squash. Like, Malenko is just around to do jobs until his contract runs out. He gets a couple of spots in, but I think he's almost 50 at this point. And Noble sort of dominates and slaps him in the trailer hitch, keeps the hold on. Malenko has to tap out. Noble holds the belt up and says this is just the beginning. And he's going to prove into the camera as he holds the TV title up. And he says he's going to be on this show. He's going to be in here every single week tapping people out. 70, solid stuff. And then for the first time, we cut to the backstage where Amy Weber is with your television champion, U.S. champion Paul London. Actually, a pretty solid promo, better than I expected. As Paul London talks about, winning the U.S. title again at Starrcade, defeating Mark Jindrak, and proving it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. And he's ready to bring Lester back to this championship and ready to prove that the U.S. champion is one of the most important belts in professional wrestling for a reason. And he goes over its long history, various people, Flair, Piper, Steamboat, Magnum TA, Nikita Koloff, all holding it, and he hopes to hope his name to the best people who have held this belt. Solid bayface promo putting things over as this gets an 85. And next up, we go back up to the top of the ramp where Teddy Long and your friend and mine, Eric Bischoff, are, and Teddy Long says, "Playa, I saw what you did at Nitro with Chosen Few, and I want to shake things up. So, welcome to Revolution. a member of the Chosen Few will now have to be on his own. Magnificent Mark Jindrak. So yes, Chosen Few has sort of been broken up here, as Mark Jindrak is now on Revolution. Like, he cuts a heel promo on Teddy Long, says, "You think you've sent a message by taking me off Nitro away from, but I'm to prove I am magnificent without any help, and I will destroy anybody you put in front of me and show them my mark of excellence, Teddy." And oops, I just realized I messed up the pick here. Hold on. So, you may notice you see Cash here. That is not supposed to be Cash. Cash is actually going to Revolution. I totally screwed up when I was making the graphics a prior version. So this should actually be Brother Rey. And Brother Rey should actually come out and still pissed at Bischoff that he picked him after Kidman. And you should point out, I was this close to beating him in the middle of that ring at Starrcade, and you let him being picked after me, and he's getting a tag title shot, and what have I gotten from you? Nothing. And he just walks off pissed, as Tay makes a joke about his fine, working skills, his fine, HR skills. So yeah, that's supposed to be Brother Rey. That was bad booking on my part, but still gets an 80, not the end of the world. Oh, right. This gets an 80, just pretend that's Brother Rey there. Actually would have been higher, so that actually hurt me. But yeah, fun stuff as we move forward. As part of Revolution, we have our first tag team title defense, as it's going to be Booker T and Shelton Benjamin defending the tag titles against Kidman and Lance Storm. And yeah, this is a really good match. And back and forth, Kidman is great, Lance Storm is great, Shelton's rising, Booker's a little aging a bit, but not too bad. So back and forth match. And the end here is, things break down, but basically Lance Storm looks like he's has actually hit a few big moves and is about to hit Lance Storm with a big super kick. But, Kidman wants to tag in. There's a little bit of argument, but Kidman turns around and tries to nail Booker T, but Booker T ducks under. Kidman runs, basically, hits Kidman, hits Lance Storm with sort of a roaring, with a big running knee. He gets tossed out. Booker T drops him with the bookend. 1, 2, 3. Booker and Shelton hold on to the tag titles in an 84. Like a Shelton gets 77, Booker gets 77, but Kidman gets an 93, Storm gets an 89. And post-match, Teddy Long is right up at top of the ramp as Kidman and Storm actually arguing before they get together as April Hunter steps in. And Teddy Long says, "Well, it's interesting you guys have had a bad night, because Lance Storm, welcome to Nitro on your own." Big pop for that, as Lance Storm is now part of Nitro, and it seems the Triumvirate are now officially done. As, notice Mike Awesome's not around at all, and Lance Storm is now on Nitro on his own. Sorry, that should have been the other way around. So as we get back to top, as first what happens is Kidman, as Teddy Long says, too bad for that players, but Caden Sharp, you're staying on Revolution. And Sharp cuts one of his typical heel promos about walking the path, and Eric Bischoff seems bored, and Eric Bischoff says, "What I just saw here in this ring was a man who should be at the top of this business, but he's being held down by men he's connected to. So, Lance Storm, you want to prove yourself? Welcome to Nitro on your own." So there you go. Lance Storm is now part of Nitro. Caden Sharp is on Revolution. And this promo gets an 81. Fun stuff, sort of, again, I've always fun to mess up your own booking that you're looking at, but, shit happens, what can you do? Regardless, fun stuff, and then as we come back for commercial, Caden Sharp is in the ring, waiting for a match. And it's against Trevor Slater, who also is basically working at sort of a jobber to the stars babyface at the moment with AEW over on Nitro. And Caden Sharp gets a submission win here. This gets a 70. Pretty straightforward, Caden Sharp gets an 80. And he's somebody who I have some good ideas for the future. And Trevor Slater gets a 45, and he may have a character work coming up here. But fun stuff as we move forward here on Nitro. Not on Revolution, rather. And for the next part of the draft, Teddy Long says, playa, I see what you're doing, Bischoff. And you're not going to take the women's championship away from what I've built. So, St. Cartier, I wish you good luck next week but I have another woman who earned a title shot as part of that 10-woman tag at Starrcade. So please welcome the other woman getting a women's title shot. And that match will also be next week against whoever the women's champion is. Angel Fox. Pop for that as Angel Fox comes out. Of course, previous part of Captivation, got turned on by them, but was one of the 2 survivors as part of the 10-woman tag. Is now getting a title shot against Nito called next week, right on Revolution. And, Bischoff says, that's fine. But speaking about talent in the future, I have a man who's one of the best technical wrestlers in the business today and came very close to defeating a WCW legend at Starrcade. So please keep it on Nitro, Alex Wright. So there we go. Yeah. So again, I sort of figured out that thing to do with Cartier and Fox as I was booking. And now Alex Wright, he's can be a toppish heel as part of Nitro, and he has some interesting things to do now that basically a lot of the people who were feuding for the latter part of the year are gone. But this gets a 86, pretty solid stuff. Angel Fox has got a really good role, and Teddy Locke and Eric Bischoff are there. Fun stuff as we move forward. Let's get backstage. Well, actually, what happens is Angel Fox says she wants a preview of the women's title match, so she wants Nikita Colt's backup. She wants Nikita Colt's backup with singing music in this ring tonight. Teddy Long agrees, and it looks like we have a match for later on. And then we cut backstage where where AJ Styles, where Sean O'Haire is, getting, backstage stuff. AJ Styles, is doing backstage work as part of being world champion. When Sean O'Haire steps up, says, I remember what I had to do when I was the guy. And AJ sort of jokes, miss it? Well, I missed some of it, including the bump and pay, the first class tickets, and of course, the reminder that I'm the best in the world. And AJ sort of says, well, too bad about that, Sean, because I'm the face that runs this place now. And I didn't beat one of your former Thriller buddies, Palumbo, to lose it to you at Clash of Champions. Which says, that's a different part of my life now. And now, AJ, nothing personal. You're going to be great in this business. But I didn't win the Triple Threat number one contendership match at Starrcade to fail at Clash of Champions. So enjoy that title while you have it. But a future shock is coming. And maybe you can call Rey about what it's like losing this title to your first defense. Mixed spot for that, and AJ says, well, maybe after you're down for the count, eating a pin, you can call your old buddy Palumbo, and you guys can commiserate about what happens to you when you get hit with a Styles Clash. And there's a bit of a stare down, but still mostly friendly, some friendly banter as this gets an 88. Good stuff. And then we have our match, which is Angel Fox versus WCW Busick, and a really good match because Angel Fox is actually pretty decent, and WCW Busick isn't bad. And this is a back and forth match. WCW Busick gives her technical skills, takedowns, trying to keep submissions. Angel Fox fights back, eventually gets a few hot moves in, and hits her Angel Snap, which I still have to figure out if I remember what that is, to get the pinfall victory in a little over 10 minutes, and a big win for her as this gets a 74. Angel Fox gets a 70, WCW Busick gets a 59. And then post-match, as Angel Fox is celebrating, Nikita Colt comes, is basically at the top of the ramp, holds her title up, and there's a stare down as the announcers put over a big women's title match. But it may not be against Nikita Colt if Selena Cartier can shock the world at Nitro. 73, solid stuff. And now, because this is actually sort of a two-part thing, so first what happens is as Teddy Long and Eric Bischoff are about to do their second to last pick, Chuck Palumbo's music hits, and he comes out and basically says, Teddy Long, I'm not going to have the same BS happening here that happened last month. So, I'm the leader of the Revolution. Ian Styles temporarily has that belt. So what I want is a main event match tonight to prove that I'm still the leader of the Revolution. And if not, there'll be hell to pay. Teddy Long says, player, it's ring says hell to play. Because the man I want you to take on tonight is a man who knows all about hell, knows all about darkness, and who now is going to be given his true freedom here on Revolution. And then the lights go out, the music hits, and out comes Macias. So yeah, we're turning Macias face because We just are. And this gets an 80, complete disaster. I don't care. So, he just sort of stares down Palumbo. Palumbo does his best to look still tough. And, Eric Bischoff just gets a look amused for the moment. Bischoff takes a mic and says, well, you're worried about main events. I'm stacking up talent. So that's why I'm glad to bring in not only one of the best tag teams in the business today, but perhaps the best manager in the business today. As out comes Nkayo, along with Stacy Keibler. So there we go. They come out. Of course, the former two-tag tag champions come out, and basically, Bischoff and Stacy shakes Bischoff's hands, and they make title motions as they're now on Nitro, looking for those tag titles. This gets a 70. Good stuff, because it's also only a 2-minute angle. So fun stuff. And then as we come back, we cut backstage where Amy Weber is with, of course, the brief graphic from last night, staying on Revolution, Rob Van Dam, along with his advocate Paul Heyman. And 100 good stuff as Amy Weber asks, what is Rob Van Dam's future looking at Revolution now that he's here in 2006, and he's defeated Rey Mysterio Jr. twice, and Heyman says, it is pretty simple. My client, Rob Van Dam, is the #1 wrestler in the world, and he will not be denied. Because if you don't remember, all the way back last year, the only reason AJ Styles even won that Mayhem tournament is because Rob Van Dam was unlucky enough to get pinned in a fatal 4-way match and not even be allowed part of the Mayhem tournament due to the obvious, incredibly sad, and frankly corrupt nature of Teddy Long and his biasness against Rob Van Dam. And Bennett says, that's not cool, man. I like you, Teddy, but that's not cool. And he says, so, you want to talk about our goals? Rob Van Dam's goal is the same as always been. Being the best wrestler in the world, being Mr. Wednesday Night, being Mr. Pay-Per-View, and that means one thing. The WCW World Championship. This is not a challenge, this is a guarantee. AJ Styles, your time as world champion is on the clock. Good promo, 100, because, and then move forward to our final pick of the draft. We come back, Teddy Long and Bischoff are up there, and Teddy Long says, yeah, you're right, agreements are over. The women's division is on both shows. That also means cruiserweights are open in both shows. And we know about cruiserweight action here on Revolution. It's just we don't limit them to one division. And like AJ Styles, Paul London, and Rey Mysterio Jr. have all risen to the top. Because we don't care about limits here on WCW Bischoff. So I like to bring in a man to Revolution who this crowd may not be the biggest fans of, but you can, if you don't like what he says, or his action in the ring, you can't deny his talent. So please welcome a future foundation of Revolution, Austin Aries. Aries comes out, does his cocky bastard stuff, says, he's done with cruiserweights, he's here just dominate and prove he's the best AA in professional wrestling. And, Bischoff says he has one more string to pull, and you see Nitro is all about the stars, all about the best in the world. And what better to make my WCW Women's Division even stronger to bring in somebody who can be truly captivating. So please welcome to WCW Nitro, Lizzie Dumas. So, Lizzie Dumas comes out, says, it's time for captivation to dominate everywhere. And there we go. Solid stuff. 69. Unfortunately, Aries and Lita aren't the best, or Lizzie aren't the best. But, solid stuff. It seems that the draft is over, and we had our changes, and we're done for the night. Then, we cut back to commercial for our main event. Oof, okay. Let me see if there's anything else disappointing here. Low morale, low experience, poor color commentator. Okay, not the best stuff, but sort of we're rebuilding things a bit here. This is just sort of a fight. Like, as you'd expect, this is just two men, kicking the crowd just away from bidding, big boots, brawling. There is not a lot of, cruiserweight action going on here. This is just two tough mofos kicking crap at each other. The crowd quickly gets behind Macias because they've sort of been behind him already. I just never officially turned them face because of the whole weirdness with the everybody's favorite storyline involving Deadpool and their nest. But eventually, Macias takes advantage. He goes for Palumbo goes for full throttle. Macias blocks it, attacks him, hits a huge choke slam, and looks like he's going to go for the crucifix powerbomb. When out of nowhere, Mark Jindrak comes in and just wallops Macias with a chair. Ref calls for the... Oh, shit. I put the... Oh, God. My booking today is just a mess. Okay, so this should be Macias defeating Palumbo by DQ. And I totally gave Palumbo the win by DQ because I got things backwards, but I had Macias attack. Okay, so this is Macias being Palumbo by DQ. It's not the end of the world because, honestly, Palumbo might have been upset if I put Macias over him because the way I've booked him the past few months. But, not the end of the world. We can just pretend like, this is a no contest. And, beat down, eventually come in, but Palumbo and Jindrak walk away together. So this gets an 82. But we're not quite done yet. As we come back from commercial, Teddy Long comes down to the top of the ramp. And the crowd is confused because, we've had our main event. We have had what I guess is our main event angle with a new heel duo. And he says, Players. I know y'all been part of a night of shocks and surprises here at the WCW Draft, both on Nitro and Revolution. But as your Revolution GM, I have to go out to get the best talent in the world wherever they are. So I've got one more talent, and it's going to not only shape the foundations of Revolution, but the entirety of the wrestling world. Then, cue Bischoff and saying, wait, Teddy, the draft is over. You think you can really pull one off over old Eric Bischoff? Let's be honest here. I've still got Goldberg. I still got Eddie Guerrero. I brought over Nito and America's Most Wanted. I have Rey Mysterio Jr. on Nitro. All the stars shine bright on Monday nights. So there's nobody freaking die. What, do you have some guy that 500 dorks on the internet know? Or do you have somebody from overseas who nobody in this audience will know? Come on, Teddy. You lost. Admit it. Eric, you always been one to count your chickens before they hatch, man. And while those stars shine bright, Revolution is all about the best in the world who get in that ring and go 100% every single night. And playa, trust me, I saved the best of last. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to the newest member of the Revolution roster that I've been talking to and negotiating with you to for weeks, if not months. I'm talking about someone who has accolades that nobody else in World Championship Wrestling has. And he has been the best in the world. He's battled some of the best in the world. And now he's here on Revolution to truly rise to the top. And then dun 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 dun. Okay, I can't do Kurt Angle's music, but it's Kurt fucking Angle. Kurt Angle comes up to the top ramp to a massive pop, does his whole thing. Angle comes out in a suit with American flag graphics. He comes out to the top ramp and says, takes the mic from Teddy and says, "Thank you, Teddy, and thank you to all the fans here tonight. I've won gold medals. I've conquered opponents all over the world. I've main evented some of the biggest shows in professional wrestling, and I've been looking for my next challenge." Now, let me tell you, when Teddy Long gave me a call and said, "Come to TEW, come to Revolution, and prove you're truly the best," I knew there was a chance to do something truly special. Eric Bischoff, you got a roster of stars on Nitro, and I respect that. But Revolution is about to go to a whole new level, because I'm not here to compete. I'm here to prove because I'm a freaking gold medalist. And I won it with a broken neck. I'm here to win championships, to make history, and prove I am truly the best in the world. So, anybody in the back? Canyon, Chuck Palumbo, Paul London, Billy Kidman, Shane Helms. Get ready. because the wrestling machine has arrived and I'm firing on every single cylinder. Whether you're a former world champion or a young rising talent, I'm laying down a challenge. Step in this room with me and get more than a match. You're going to get an angle slam, an ankle lock, and a wrestling lesson you'll never forget. And that's not true. It's damn true. So yeah, Kurt Angle is here. He was my one big signing along with Ross. So unfortunately, got a 94. That's good, but his gimmick, poor gimmick. Oh, that's, I hope I'm going to have to see what the definition of games lengthy matches, because that might not be great. That might be a gimmick change really quickly. But 94, and overall, we get an 89. So one moment. Well, we move forward. So a big night, and the thing I didn't want to show as far as goals go. Obviously, I think some people probably figured out that Angle is coming in, just because of the stuff I had, just because of the various stuff that was boiled over in this part. But yeah, owner goals. So we got financial balance must still go up. That's fine. Macias must be kept above 71 overall popularity. If I screw that up, I deserve to get fired. But Angle must be kept above 83, which again, guess what? Guess who's not going to be doing a ton of jobs? I can't hire any strikers, which is interesting, and I can't hire Extend, still a safety thing. So, not the end of the world as far as that goes. So yeah. To do a little quick check-in, WWE had SmackDown. So, they had Spike Lee defeat Rico Constantino in a random ladder match in A57. We had Brock Lesnar leaving Undertaker laying out after a brawl. Devin Dubois defeat Basher. Christian defeat Samu in A75. Billy Gunn defeat Justice. Rotor Animal, Chris Benoit, and Brock Lesnar defeating the It Crowd. When Road Warrior Animal is when Chris Benoit is maybe the least tough person in a 3-man team, that's some bad SOBs. 84, Rigo defeated Leonardo Michael Murray in a random cage match in 94. And the main event was The Undertaker and the debuting Gladiator defeating Scott Steiner and Kane. Not a lot of selling done in this match, I bet. Still got an 8 and 85 because of course it did. But 83 overall. So not as bad as I thought. So yeah, if we look around to what the other things done. So NWA Wildside, let's see here. They had only their week. So let me see. I forget what's the last thing I had showed you guys. So I'll check on a couple things here. So on our last TV shows of the year, Matt Morgan defeated Brett Major during 34. Tony Jones and Riley Dury, who's a regen, defeated Rick Michaels and Kurt Stallings. Everybody sort of meh. Rain Man Lazarus and Castor Riley defeated Ryan Drago, Todd Seston, and John Phoenix by DQ. Fun stuff. Castor Riley is almost ready, but I just don't have a spot for him. So then there was Christmas Chaos, which had Kurt Stallings defeat Riley Dury in a battle of the Regens. We had Kenzo Suzuki and Rick Michaels Rain Man defeat Dagon Briggs, Matt Morgan, and Austin Creed. Interesting stuff there. Ray Gordy defeat Toby Jones, as he's here basically hoping not to get hurt again. Let's see here. Nobody else of note really matters. And then the weekly house show, we had Brett Major defeat Shane Haste in a tables match. Did I sign Shane Haste? I don't think I did. I think he was signed by the game, or he's has a random NWA title, I'm guessing. Rick Michaels and Ray Gordy defeated Matt Morgan and Rally Durante. Lesnar Jones retained the NWA Wildside tag titles, and Jason Cross retained the Wildside Heavyweight Championship. So that's that. And then for AWQ, we had first the weekly show. Annette Blanchard defeat Collar Chambers in a regen battle. Then we had Madison Eagles defeat Amazing Con by DQ in 52. Michelle and Madison Claire defeat Portia Perez and Ariel in tables match in 62. And Miho Osaka defeat Amy Sakura in a 73. And then for ladies' night, we had Amazing Con and Carl Chambers defeat Annette Blanchard and Madison Regals in a 46. Michelle and Madison Claire defeat Amy Sakura and Portia Perez for the AW tag titles. And Miho Osaka defeat Ariel to retain the AW title in a 77. So, they're having bangers because Malia's great and actually Ariel's great. But yeah, so, and I think, yeah, so then if we go to HWA, so they had their weekly show. So let's see, anything of note really? Not really. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I will show you guys more, but there's not really that much going on. OVW had their weekly loop. So Beth Phoenix won one of her last matches. The A Squad are still your Southern Tag Champions. Dane Doring still your Heavyweight Champion. And Riptide still your Diva Champion. Any other weird matches here? How about Saturday? Not really. Regen of Star Sledge made her debut. Beth Phoenix won her goodbye match against Catherine Mendoza. It was a regen. And that's about it. Yeah. So then let's take a look around the wrestling world. I probably showed a bunch of this stuff as when I was doing the recap, but just in case you didn't watch that, let's go over some of the big shows that ended the year here in wrestling. Let's see here. I'm just going over stuff. Okay, so right, so there was Dreamwin, which I think I told you, but it was Babu defeats Tanahashi for the junior heavyweight title in '95. Kanjoji retains titles over Bat, which is Muto and Kea in '94, and Hizaki defeats Chono in '77 because Chono's really broken down. TX had their Ultimo Young Dragon Cup, which had Joker defeating Ultraman as Black. So 2 random indie guys are now big stars in Mexico. Not big, but 1,600 people isn't nothing. Outside of that, Masaki Mogishi defeated Volante. I guess. Interesting. Let's see here. Anything else of note? I'm double checking here. Anything of really note? ABQ I already showed you. Fear and Integrity, which I think, yeah, I told you. So let's see here. Matches that people would care about. John Walters versus Darkness Crabtree. Sure, that happened. Shane Ballard and Basham and Shannon Moore defeat Flash Finnegan, John Moxley, and Davey Richards in '62. Stryker and Bateman defeated Maryland by DQ in a match for the Champions of Integrity title, and Perry Saturn defeated Tony Kazina. And then we're Starrcade. And Pro had their year-end special. So there was Arai Togo in '68, Nishida Crazy in '77, Shibata versus Makabe in '86. And then the main event of Sasaki and Shinzaki defeated Otani and Guido in '77 in front of 16,500 people. So as far as like other big shows in the first couple months of the year, let's see here. Not really much of note. Yeah. ECWA had a show. It's really not much. And independent wrestling, Spain, nobody we really need to care about. So, here we are. So this is the start of a new year. We are what we are. We're heading off to Clash of Champions. It's start of the year, so we're back on the 3rd week as WWF takes over the 4th week. So sort of especially since the first week is the draft, so there'll be a lot of angles to set up basically the pay-per-view, at least on Revolution. But, that's it for now. A good start of the year, I think. Outside of like some slightly wacky, issues with booking and pictures. But, that's for now. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and give a like. Comment below what you're liking and not liking. And of course, for our channel for plenty of other TEW 2020 content, including this. Hopefully, I'll be able to get ROH running again. I really do want to get it running before the end of the year, and then of course basketball GM stuff, and who knows what else might pop up. But that's it for now. Talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.